Make love happen. Hey, real quick before the episode, let me tell you how you can support this podcast. Your lover is tired. Tired of you. Tired of you always having your nose in a goddamn book. Why can't you make eye contact with them once in a while? Why not? You've been together for 5 years. Why can't you just throw a glance their way? Come on, you guys love each other. You read all the time. Read, page after page after page, paper cut after paper cut. You know how much there is to know. Well, you probably definitely have dyslexia. So you're wasting your time looking at books. Your lover's eyes are the windows to realizing you don't have to read books anymore. Your lover's eyes, they're full of love and full of missing you and full of more knowledge than any book that you can read with your eyes can ever give you. Good Idea, as usual, has the solution for you. Go right now to audibletrial.com/good idea. That's audibletrial.com/good idea. And you can get a free audiobook right now for free. And when you get that free audiobook, Audible sends some money to our podcast, an episode of which is almost as valuable as 1/5 of an audiobook, maybe 1/3, 1/90th, 1/69th. Go to audibletrial.com/good idea right now to support this podcast and to get yourself a free audiobook for free. Let me recommend the Audible adaptation of Neil Gaiman's Sandman comic series. I find the story to be delightful, the sound design to be excellent, and a lot of the voice acting to be sexy voice acting. Get yourself going with some sexy voice acting and finally look your lover in the eye again. audibletrial.com/good idea. Make love happen. This episode was recorded on July 12th of 2020. Our guest is Kye You. Kye is living in Australia. It's the land down under, and, you know, the world's upside down over there. And Kye has kind of a flipped and warped comedy viewpoint because of it. So be ready for that. You can find Kye on the Crit Chat podcast and also the Sinister Parent Company podcast network. The network this podcast is on, whether it be Something Wonderful Right Away, previous episodes of Good Idea, such as Paulidarity and our ongoing Houses of Bone and Lamplight series, or it be his Doctor Who podcast, Brothers in Time, that he does with his brother, In Time. They keep to the beat of the podcast very well. Kye always brings intelligence and brilliance to a conversation, and he fills in for George when George is missing very well. Now, that's not to say that you can ever replace George, but George couldn't make it this week, and Kye also happened to be able to make it this week. So, you do the math, because I don't like doing math. It hurts my brain. The rest of us in the Good Idea cast get an A for attendance. George will be back next time. Thank you, Kye, for gracing this podcast. Without further ado, please find a space that's comfortable, lean up against a pole, or have a seat if you're so inclined. Welcome to our front porch.
Good idea. It's the Morning Joe to your Morning Joe. It's the blue collar to your blue collar. It's the lab coat to your scientists. Speaking of scientists, y'all want to learn something today?
Who brought chips?
Were we supposed to bring chips?
Everyone was supposed to bring chips, but
we all brought. I think we all brought paper plates, Aiden.
We all brought paper plates. Oh, damn it!
Damn it!
I bought
salsa, but like, what's that gonna? Is that gonna work without chips?
You were supposed to bring paper plates.
What?
You were the one person that was supposed to bring paper plates, and you brought salsa.
Hang on, like you just said, bring whatever.
Yeah, I brought paper plates.
I really appreciate that. I'm glad that we all brought paper plates. Did I say bring whatever?
I mean, you
did I just say bring whatever?
and it was definitely one of
No,
those
I
two
think you're
choices.
right. I think I said that. I think I said bring whatever, and I think I'm being rude right now.
To be honest,
And
can I
assumed-
open this up?
I
Aiden?
assumed. Hold on a second. I just need to apologize to Kye because I assumed that he would bring paper plates because he brought paper plates last time, and it was not fair of me to do that.
Last time I
Kai,
bought
we
chips.
tell
Jeff,
you
go
this.
ahead.
We tell you whatever because sometimes you'll just bring like a tube sock and we'll be like, what is this? And you'll be like, you said bring whatever. So we just got tired of telling you like the thing we need and you bring the wrong thing. So now we just say whatever, hoping that you'll bring paper plates.
But like, do you remember when I did bring the tube sock? Like, how fun was that? You had a ball.
It was very fun. That's true.
I mean, yeah, you put the ball
Okay.
in the tube sock. You can like swing it around. We bonked it on each other's heads a lot.
I remember that. I lost a lot of brain function after that.
It was a ball made of concrete was the thing. It was a very powerful tube.
It was
I was
blood
against
everywhere.
making the ball out of concrete. I just want that on the record.
Gee,
I was for it.
you had a lot of blood that
I just
day,
want that
and
on the
I think
record.
that you don't have as much now, which is sad to me.
It's really sad when someone loses that much blood. But the thing was,
Did I lose
I had
you
a
guys?
ball, and it was really fun to. I'm sorry, what was that, Jeff?
I don't think he can hear us.
I think we lost Jeff, guys.
Did we lose Jeff? Did we lose him on the porch?
Okay, I think we lose Jeff. We lost Jeff on the porch, guys. This is where we come clean. We're not on a porch. We're all on Zoom.
Yeah.
We're having phone calls on Zoom, and we're goofing around, and we're trying to improvise an opening to this show.
It would literally be illegal for me to like join you guys on the porch right now.
Kye literally could not even join us on the porch right now.
It would be
I mean,
against the
completely.
law.
It would be against the law, and I think that anything that's against the law, that you shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Now, this isn't a joke, by the way. We're in
Just-
stage 3 lockdown in
This is not a
where
joke.
I live. So, yeah.
So Kye legally couldn't do it, but now if you winked at a police officer, or I don't know if Australians, do you guys have police there?
We do have police officers, yes.
You have police. Okay, well, why don't we wait for Jeff before we keep going?
Okay.
Jeff, welcome back.
Sorry, guys. I had to go get paper plates. It took a little while.
Jeff had to go get paper plates. That was the thing. So Jeff fell off the face of the phone call. Jeff, while you were gone, we had started talking about how I didn't know if Australians had police, and Kye said that they did.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were
And
going
we
to
were talking
ask
about how
if they
Kye
call
couldn't.
chips.
Oh.
Do they call chips, Kye?
What
This
do
is
you-
important.
Yeah,
Our listeners
so,
want to know.
what do you mean when you say chips?
Crisps.
Yeah, we have chips.
Yeah, crisps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
what is different than a crisp and a chip?
our word
Nothing.
For,
For us, it's called a chip. For them, it's called a crisp.
No,
But
it's not though.
but aren't-
so that's not true. We do
aren't
call them
fucking-
chips. We only
hold
have the
on.
word chip, basically. What you call guys call fries, they're chips.
Yeah.
So
What I'm confused
you don't
about
have the
is-
word crisp at all, like
Well,
they
obviously
do in
we
England.
we do have the word crisp, and if you call them crisp, we'll understand.
No. But like
it's
you
not,
don't call chips crisps. You
no,
just call
chips are
everything
chips.
a
All
chip.
of them are chips. Everything's a chip.
That's so
Everything
weird.
is everything. They only have one word in Australia.
Just one word.
It's a chip.
You know, just to talk
They
to you
call
guys, it's been a
everything a
whole
chip. They call
learning
everything a chip.
process, You know, Hang on, I'll speak some like
You know how-
more Australian sort of dialect here for a second. We'll see if you guys can understand what I'm saying. Chip, 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 chip. Aiden, chip, 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 chip. How was that?
Now I want chips.
chip.
What?
You know how Inuit
Sorry, what?
Inuit folks have a lot of words for snow?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Australian folks have so many words for chip.
you really don't.
No, sorry. What I meant to say was so many chips for words.
That's the one.
Yes.
Yes. Over here, we call those paper plates. And we're overflowing with them. They're filling our closets and our pantries. So many.
It's a real problem, eh?
Yeah.
Now, aren't you glad
It was
didn't
just
bring paper
a
plates now?
difference of sorry, what?
Aren't you glad I didn't bring paper plates now?
That's a hard question to ask because it's like Smurfs, you know? So it's like both the thing that it is and the thing that it isn't. So now I'm struggling to answer. Is it paper plates or chips?
Is it paper plates or chips? I mean, if you're in Australia, you'd what we would call in America a paper plate, they would call it chip. I mean, and just look at the shape of it, right? So if you put the shape of like a paper plate, if you put like a Pringle on top of a paper plate, it's like kind of like looking like a turtle all the way down situation.
I'm not gonna lie, I've lost track of this narrative. Like, I don't know where we're at. I'm like a scuba diver.
I'm trying so hard to keep up, but I'm just
trying to find the
crying.
bubbles going up to see which way is the surface. You know.
No, so if you put a Pringle or like a Lay's salt and vinegar chip,
hang on,
is Lay's
a brand of chip?
Doesn't it sound so good?
What's a Lay's?
You put it on top of a paper plate. Lay's is not great, I know, but it's a bag of air.
But what is it? It's a chip brand, right?
But it looks like a paper plate,
right?
It's a chip brand. Yes, Lay's is a chip brand.
Okay, thank God.
If you put a chip. But in Australia, all brands are chip brands, so I don't understand what you're asking. What I'm saying is, if you put, I hit the synthesizer and it made a sound. The chip brands about this porch, yes, Jeff, we gave away. Actually, what I was going to say is the reason we started talking about cops in Australia was because we gave away that this was actually a Zoom meeting and not a porch hangout among friends. And that you had fallen off the call, and that Kye explained to us that he could not join us on the porch even if he wanted to because Australia was under lockdown. And I said,
"Did you explain to him about theater? Did you explain to him about theater of the mind and that we can pretend?"
I mean, Jeff, like stage 2 restrictions.
Australians have a hard time understanding about pretending because they only have one word to work with.
Stage 2 restrictions are is kind of a serious business. Like, let's not joke around about this, okay? You know, like it's a big deal.
Which part?
I just think it's impressive how well you've mastered English vocabulary.
I put a lot of time.
I have a question.
What's up?
I have a question. Kye, are you still confused about how my porch is enclosed?
Yes, actually.
Okay, so it has a roof.
Mm-hmm. Like a porch.
And it has pillars supporting the roof.
Yeah.
And in between each pillar is chicken wire.
Okay.
And like screening. Like
but it's an addition
screen
that
door
you've
screening.
made.
It's just yes. Well,
okay.
I haven't made it. I moved in to this house. It's a small house on my friend's property that they lived in before their house was built. And my bedroom is like what used to be the kitchen. So it's like really big. But yeah, the porch is just, I mean, it's basically a storage area with like a path between the porch door and my door so that I can get to my room. But it is, it's screened in.
But it would not keep the bugs out.
Wall of screening. It does keep bugs out. It doesn't keep them out well because there are holes in the screen. It needs to be replaced. But it keeps the cat in, and that's what's important.
What do you mean when you say chicken wire?
Like chicken wire. I don't
That's
know
a square grid kind of wire
chicken wire
you get
is
at the
like,
hardware store.
Okay. Our chicken wire is like actually different. It's like the sort of like more circular sort of like patterning, like hexagonal patterning. With like maybe like
it can be that too.
2 or 3 centimeters wide gaps.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's just a different kind of the same thing.
Oh, okay.
It is. So I know in England they don't really have window screens because their windows open differently. Do y'all have window screens there?
Yeah. Keep the bugs out.
Okay.
I have window screens in Illinois.
Because y'all have to keep the bugs out as much as we do in the South here. You have to keep the bugs out.
Okay, so it's made of that
windows.
stuff.
Yeah, they don't really, that's not really a problem in England, apparently. Bill has his windows open all the time, and I'm like, aren't you worried about bugs? And he's like, what bugs? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What bugs? There are bugs living outside.
Yeah, well, that's what we do.
There are no bugs living outside in England. What the fuck are you talking about,
apparently there are no bugs living outside. He's ridiculous.
They have no flowers. All their bees died a long time ago. Doctor Who did an episode about it.
Those poor bugs. They killed all the bugs.
The other screening the screening that keeps bugs out is like the window screens.
Yeah.
So that's lining the whole porch.
That makes sense. And you call that chicken wire
They
as
also
well.
have
Yeah.
like malware protection programs on their computers, and those keep the bugs out also.
Yes.
Yes.
Can we talk seating on our porch?
Before
like
we
how
do-
spread out are we? It sounds like G's is pretty tight. Like, can we
It's not
kind of
that.
stretch
It's,
out
I
so
mean,
we're
it's pretty
social
big.
distancing?
It's a large-sized porch. You could probably.
As we
social
do,
distance
should we introduce ourselves?
We don't need to social distance because this episode is being released in the future when social distancing, no one will care about it anymore.
You know what? I
mean,
fucking
we're-
hope so.
We're all well, no, but you think about it right now. Like, look at what America's doing. Hey, here, this recording is being done on July 12th, 2020. Right now, people don't seem to care very much about social distancing anyway. I mean, I
haven't left
myself
my
care
house
about
in
social
30
distancing
years.
G
a
hasn't
mood.
left their house in 30 years, and G
That's
lives
how it
in a
feels.
cave.
It's how
And
it
it's
feels.
cold there,
A cave
and they
with a
don't
porch.
have anyone. No one delivers to the cave, so G is just sort of surviving on
Domino's
bugs at
does.
this point.
Domino's
So G actually has
delivers.
to let
That's
the
the only
bugs in.
place that does.
Oh, Domino's too.
Yeah,
That's,
just
they
They
Domino's.
do caves now.
That's rough.
If we don't get our pizza to your cave in 30 minutes or less,
It's free.
it's free. And also and Domino's actually does accept rocks as payment, but only from people who live in caves.
Like
It's
I
sort
know.
of a-
So
like a
I did
outreach
say earlier I live
program.
out in the middle of the forest. So you are right in thinking that nobody else delivers here, because I do live out in the middle of the forest, and nobody but Domino's delivers here.
It is just Domino's.
They will not.
Kye-
Nobody else will.
Kai, what were you saying? I missed it.
I don't even know. Something about rocks.
That's fair. Something
Kyle
about
said this
rocks.
crazy thing about like introducing ourselves.
Yeah, I
what do
did
you
say
guys
that.
think?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
That was
we
a minute
do
ago.
have to.
Are we on a porch still?
I mean,
Yeah.
am I a criminal?
Okay, we're still on a. Oh wait, I didn't get to finish what I was saying. Nobody cares about
do
social
it.
distancing right now. There is a conversation that I had in Bucky's gas station the other day with a lady, and
Not with
I,
Bucky.
and
Wait,
I
y'all
was.
have Bucky's there?
We have Bucky's here. I
fuck is
obsessively go to
Buc-ee's?
Bucky's because it's
I
like
miss
it's because my
Buc-ee's.
brain sees it as a watering hole. The way that I might have seen a river as a watering hole if I was a hunter gatherer.
Surely a
And I
watering
go
hole would be
there
the watering
and
hole.
I get a watering hole too. I go there like obsessively or I don't want to. I don't know. I go there a lot. I go there compulsively. I don't know. I want soda all the time, and I go to Buc-ee's to get it. And I had a conversation with a lady in there who was saying she didn't care about social distancing, and that was all I was trying to say. It took way too long to say it. And I was like, I don't care either, but I really do care because I don't want to get anyone else sick. But it was interesting that someone was just like, I don't care. And I was like, I can't believe you said that out loud in public. That's such a social
Right?
faux pas. What do you think you're doing? Yeah, that's all. I just realized I wasn't standing on the social distancing dot. So I had apologized to her and she's like, oh, I don't care. And that was how the conversation happened.
Oh, I
Yeah.
So should we introduce ourselves?
see. Yeah.
Well, right before we do, I just want to say that is probably a pretty big stressor for a lot of people right now. If you have morals, if you care about other people, seeing all these other people shamelessly out in public not caring can be stressful.
It is
Yeah.
illegal in my state to not wear a mask out in public, which is nice.
And that rule will be long gone when this episode comes out because no one will care anymore.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's illegal in my state to be outside if it's not for a few exceptions. Full stop.
Ooh.
I don't think there's a rule on masks though, so highly recommended though. Yeah.
They never made it illegal for us, but they strongly encouraged us to stay home, and people really, really did. They really enjoyed that for a little while.
It's good. It's good. Hey, before we introduce ourselves, just one more thing. Okay? Just one more thing. I want to be very clear. None of me actually in any way endorses the idea that social distancing is stupid in this current situation. that we are in, but I do look forward to when we don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah,
because
for real.
Especially if we're all wearing masks. I do think also that going forward in the future, we might want to be more like the countries that like Japan, for example, that do wear masks out of courtesy. Would be a good thing for us to do whenever people are sick in general.
They wear masks if they're sick. They wear masks if they have allergies, and they wear masks for a whole bunch of different reasons, and nobody fucking questions it.
Yeah, I wouldn't
And
recommend
nobody
wearing
looks
a
at them
mask
weird.
for fashion or comfort. Just because a lot of people don't have
It's
good
not
hearing and read your
comfortable.
lips. They can. Feel
Yeah,
comfortable.
that's true. That's true. I wouldn't.
Do you know if they're wearing masks for Halloween over there, though? Because, if they're not, then what's even the point of wearing masks at all?
I don't know.
Like Halloween masks.
Oh my God. People are just going to start wearing Halloween masks unironically all year.
I mean, that would be such a good way to do it. It would be
I'm
a
on
little
board
bit of
with
like an
that.
extension of the idea of the plague doctor. I think it would be,
Okay,
which
guys, we're on the porch. I just check out this box. I'm opening up this box. Look at this. See, look at the packing peanuts. Oh, hey, I got us all Halloween masks to wear here on the porch.
Oh, I want the one with the long nose.
Which one is that?
The one on the third from the left.
I want the one that makes it look like I don't have a head.
That's
Okay,
a good
okay,
one.
so
that
headless.
one's just a machete.
I want the one that will completely cover my face and disguise the fact that I am a criminal for being here on this porch.
Ba-da, ba-da-da-da. Bum, bum, ba-bum, bum, bum, ba-da-bum, ba-bum, bum.
I'm a werewolf. I know, that's kind of basic. I'm sorry. I just don't want to think too hard. And it was right there on top.
No, it's not basic. I said I want the one with the long nose because I couldn't commit to an existing monster.
I mean, there's this
I
bird
was like,
here.
and the image in my
Would
head
you like a
was of
bird?
Pinocchio.
Hey, I have a question.
I was imagining more
for
like
y'all.
commedia dell'arte kind of thing, but yeah. Yeah, Jake?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Well, that too.
A
Is it arte or
Puccinello.
just commedia dell'arte? I don't know. What were you
I
gonna say?
have a question. When's the last time that y'all went outside for anything other than? I'm trying to live vicariously through y'all. When's the last time that y'all went outside for anything other than like food, like going to the grocery store or going to get some food from McDonald's or whatever? When's the last time that happened?
A few weeks ago. So we're in stage 4 lockdown for the second time. Things were bad, then they were getting better, and now they're getting bad again. While they were getting
Right,
better,
because second spike that they predicted.
it's probably the first spike, actually. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's like way worse than the first lot round. So it's probably just like the first lot round. We
great.
just sort of delayed, and this is the actual like COVID wave. But I went and visited a friend because it felt more appropriate at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see. The last time I went out with people, and this was without a mask, I think that wasn't for food, or for like I drive for DoorDash right now, so that's something I go out for, but that's work. I went to my sister's softball game last Saturday. It was like I think it was the 4th of July.
They're still doing sports?
Yeah, so that's the thing I was going to say is
shit.
interesting. It seemed extremely irresponsible. I am extremely irresponsible sometimes, and I partook in that because I did not remember to bring a mask and also didn't want to wear a mask outside in the hot sun. But also, the sunlight kills COVID, and so it's pretty much fine.
No, that's not true.
I mean, it's pretty much fine because they're all choosing to be there. They're individuals who chose to go there and paid to enter. It's not
That
like
is
it's
true.
on them.
Yeah,
Yes,
And I understand
that is
that
true.
is reckless and
I-
it does affect other people in the society. I know that, and I'm not going to say that it's not like that it's completely perfect, but nothing's ever going to be. And people need for their health to be around other people and to play and to have social experiences. And it's extremely important. And people are sick mentally right now because of how little of each other they have been able to be around. And it is not
Absolutely.
necessarily better.
AJ predicted that like people struggling with mental illness would like just be a nightmare by the end of this. And I think it's hitting. I think it's really hitting a lot of folks.
It's
gotta be both.
finally really hit me this week. So
yeah, it hit me really hard a little while ago. And I think I'm doing on an upswing now. Go ahead, G,
I went out on Monday for work for the first time since March.
Wait, hold on, just for the listener. This is just going to be one more thing before we introduce ourselves, okay?
Yeah, just one more thing.
G, go ahead.
I went out for the first time since March to work, like in my building. My dentist's office is where I work. I work in billing at a dental school. And they were like, oh yeah, okay, so we're reopening. I work at UNC. They were like, we're reopening. And everything is going to be great. And so what we're going to do is we're like in my office, they were like, what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 people in the office at a time. We're going to do social distancing. Everybody's going to be wearing a mask. We're going to clean at the end of every day. And I was like, great, that's fine. I can handle that. My brain, I think, can handle that. Because I've been having a lot of anxiety about getting sick as someone whose respiratory system is not up to par. And so I went in and I answered the phones for half a day. And then my boss came out of her office and said, you can go home at noon. This is ridiculous. This is stupid. We don't need to be here. And I went, really? And she goes, yes, don't come back for the rest of the week. You do not need to be here. Work from home. And I was like, okay. And then we got an email on Wednesday from our boss saying, we're not coming back. We can work from home until this is over because we have too many people having anxiety attacks about going back to work and getting sick. Y'all need to work from home. And we were like, okay, so I'm back to working at home. I went out for 4 hours on Monday last week, and that was it. That's all I've done.
Okay, that's all G has done. G, you're a saint. You're doing great. It's perfect.
I miss going outside.
You know what? I forgot. Yesterday, I actually went to do a radio show with people. Ooh. So that also would be going out, not for food, but that was in a closed, locked door environment, only with people who were invited to be on the show, and everyone was was social distancing and wearing masks.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
It was responsible. The plug for Flabby Hoffman's Radio Extravaganza, which is a really wonderful radio show that is extremely anti the system in every way possible. Yesterday we had a lovely conversation about this is just one more thing before we introduce ourselves. Yesterday we had a lovely conversation about how the media has and the people with money have used money and media as speech acts to control the rest of people for all of time. And how as much as social media can help us to fight against that, the algorithms and the capitalism involved in social media makes it also part of the problem. And we were just talking about that and shooting the shit. And during my introduction, they gave me a wonderful intro about describing just how much I love to be roughed up in the boudoir. They made that up. That's would be absolutely slander and libel to say that I love being roughed up in the boudoir. But it was very funny. The show brings on comedians and artists in the Chicago area, and they talk about their art and also make jokes with each other. It's super great. Flabby Hoffman's Radio Extravaganza. You can listen to it online at K4, that's QUE, 4, the number 4.org on Saturdays starting at 1 p.m. and the show goes till like 4:30. That is in Central Time. They're live from 1 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. Super cool. It's a really wonderful group of people that makes it. You guys.
What time?
One more thing, Aiden.
What is that?
If I may, I just have one more thing before we introduce ourselves.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff. What's the thing?
So the last time I went out was this Wednesday. It was a car caravan protest rally for Black Lives Matter. And I met a couple great organizers. and we were mostly in our cars until the very end.
Nice.
And they gave speeches like in the middle of an intersection. We went to the bougie part of town, the super fancy North Tacoma area called Proctor, and we shut down the intersection. And then this lone wolf, like renegade cop, rolled up 15 minutes in and like scared everybody off. It was weird.
Did he have like a radio, like something connected to his hip or holding over his head that like played his theme song as he rolled onto the scene?
Well, I was a little far back, but I mean, we can play in this space.
Might have. Kye, you were saying something. Just one more thing, listeners. This is one more thing. Kye was saying something before Jeff did his one more thing. So just to be fair, this is one more thing before we introduce.
Before we
introduce ourselves, Kye.
No, the thing is, it was just like a joke, like based on something somebody was saying. I've forgotten what it is the thing, and so it's like
okay. So if you want to go back,
yeah, hang on, like wait, if you can like repeat the conversation you were saying, so that I can like remember what it was.
I don't.
Forgetting everything and stop putting all the things down and introducing ourselves is a good idea. Good idea is a brain trust your brain can trust. It is also a comedy and philosophy podcast where we design the solutions to your fuck. I did a bad introduction. I haven't done this in like a month and a half. Solutions
to your
good idea. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna do it just one more time. Good idea is a brain trust your brain can trust. It is a comedy podcast and a philosophy podcast where we design the creative and actionable solutions to your real life problems. I am Aiden Kinsella.
I'm G. I've forgotten a last name.
I am Kye.
G has foregone their last name. Sorry, Kye, go again. Just one more time.
I am Kye. Kye You. That's me. Hello.
I'm George Diaz.
And George Diaz is here. No, that's Jeff. That's Jeff Richardson.
That was me.
Jeff Richardson.
That was my
here.
George. I did.
That was George. It was a really good George Diaz impression.
It was a really good impression.
You got his name 100% right.
And George will be back next time, right? Not that I don't love Kye.
No, and I'm not I'm definitely not a replacement for George. It just sort of happens.
Reassuring the public, the adoring fans, that everybody who comes and listens for George.
Yeah, it just sort of so happens that the time I'm here, George couldn't make it.
I want to speak directly to the listener, to the fan that is a George head, and I just want to say
the George head is one of the things on our cover art for our podcast.
That's why they call themselves George heads. Yeah.
Sorry, keep going.
So George heads out there, I just want to tell you that George is happy. He's comfortable. He couldn't make it to the porch this time, but you know what? He loves you all the same.
It's because he's in Jeff's basement. He's fine.
Well, I didn't want to get into the specifics
this
of
is
what's
why Jeff
going on
knows.
with George. But normally I'm George Diaz, as a goof, and this time also as a goof. And we have another guest.
Yes, and I can't be George.
Filling in for George Diaz.
I'm too busy being me.
The thing is, Kye is too busy being him, but that's good. It's a good person to be busy being. Let me look up over here. So we are all Mabim Bambinos here. We talk about that sometimes on the podcast. So I think it's time for us busy bees to get down to business. That's for any
Jesus
of the Mabim Bambino, either Griffin, Justin, or Travis heads that listen to this podcast that are also George, G, Jeff, or Aiden heads, or Kye heads who are here for Kye.
Does Kye have a head? I mean, there's no.
Does Kye have a head?
No,
I don't know.
I have
a machete. Does Kye have a head? Or sorry, no, G has the machete.
But there's no proof that I have a head yet so far. There's
no picture of a Kye head on the Good Idea cover art, and there's no picture of a Kye head on any of the podcasts he's done. So as far as I know, Kye has no head.
On Something Wonderful Right Away, but I have a full body.
Oh shit, you're so right. Yeah. You do have a head on that one.
But I'm not just a head though. Maybe it's a false head, a pseudo head.
It might be a pseudo head.
We got to come up with a fun name for Kye heads, but that isn't Kye heads because he's a whole body.
Kye fans. Is that anything?
I
I don't know.
don't know. Maybe?
Okay,
you guys
wait,
have a
hold
Kye
on.
Fans account?
I feel like we're in a bit of a lull. Let me tell a joke to liven things up.
All right.
Are you guys ready for this joke?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so I was talking to my mom the other day, and she said something funny, and it made me laugh, and that reminded me of jokes.
Okay.
Yeah, so what's the joke?
That was it. What made me she made me laugh, and it reminded
I get
me of
it.
jokes.
That's hilarious.
It is, right?
But like,
Yeah,
this is,
so funny.
but you're supposed to like tell the joke afterwards, though.
No, that was the joke. It's not that it reminded me of a joke. When my mom made me laugh, it reminded me of jokes.
Okay. Yeah.
Just the idea of jokes.
Yeah, but so like the ideas of jokes like include all of the specific jokes that you could tell. But like, could you tell one of those?
No, I don't think you understand. I feel like you're not getting it. I feel like you're not getting it. So the other
Maybe
day,
if
my
you
mom
try to tell it in a different way, Aiden.
What
come
if I
at
just
it from
tell
a
it
different angle?
one more time
Okay.
in a different way? Okay.
Yeah.
So I was walking down the street the other day, and this guy walked up to me, and then I realized that this guy was my mom, and he said something, and it was like really funny. And what am I saying? This makes no sense at all, and it seems like I'm misgendering people in it because I'm being reckless instead.
It sounds like you had a daydream where you
instead of trying.
changed the gender of your mom
Or
to
just
sort
the
of
whole
distance
identity,
yourself.
you know, like the other person. Like,
Well, I was trying to do some subversion, like it was a dream situation, like because I was listening to The Hero with a Thousand Faces this morning, and yesterday I was listening to the part about dreams, and so there's a lot of sort of transformation, and in the dream state, you know, there is a lack of gender energy that is consistent, you know, so it changes. So that would make some sense in the logic of dreams. But anyway, I failed to tell the joke a second time. Do you see?
yes, but there was still no
The joke was perfect the first time.
Yes. No, I did get the joke. Like, I should say, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, because I always like worry with that. Like,
I'm
as
just
I do that sort of like straight man joke of like, oh, I don't understand the joke, and that's a joke in itself. I always worry that like, well, maybe they just think I'm thick, you know, and like, they're like.
No, I don't
everything-
think you're thick. Don't
No,
worry.
I realize that in this situation. I'm just talking about women generally now, you know. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Shit, I worry about that with sarcasm all the time. I do a lot of sarcasm, and then I try to do it like in texts, and I hate that because I feel like it doesn't come off well.
It doesn't work.
And I speak in sarcasm a lot.
Unless like somebody really knows me, I'm not going to try like trying to speak with sarcasm in a text, you know?
Yes, I do know. Sometimes I'll do it though if I'm getting to know someone, I'll do it on purpose to just be like, this is how I talk.
Yeah.
And then I might explain myself because I would rather them know how I talk and then quickly than try to fake it. I don't like faking it. It bothers me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a personal thing. Okay, so we got to solve problems. We were talking about porch doors.
Now, I would like the porch to be above the street, you know, kind of like a little higher than a normal porch so you get a good angle.
So like 4 stories up kind of
So
deal?
we're still
or
building the
whatever.
porch. 4 stories
just
up.
like-
So are we
just
going to
like
build the
half a
perfect
story.
porch?
Yeah, I mean, we're just up maybe 6 feet, you know, you take some
I mean,
stairs.
my perfect
That way you
porch
get
a
is
maybe
vertigo
panorama.
inspiring, so I don't know what you're on about.
Yours is vertigo
Yes.
inspiring?
4 stories up or
so
bust.
you want
That
one of
seems
those
like it'd be very stressful.
you want one of those second floor apartments with the long rickety stairs down the side of the
I think
house.
basically what I think is I want a balcony, not a porch.
I think a balcony, not a porch, is a very good idea. But a balcony is like just a really
I
tall
was going to say,
porch.
what is a balcony but a tall
Yes,
porch?
I agree.
So how do we define porch? This is an important part of almost every good idea episode.
I
How
would
do
be
we
honest,
define?
I think there is only one perfect porch, and it is the wraparound porch.
I love a wraparound porch. So southern.
Yeah.
You know,
To add
it's
to that,
probably based on
the
weird stuff.
double-storied wraparound porch.
Oh,
That's
fancy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah?
That looks like so a wraparound porch goes all the way around the house, right?
Yeah.
correct.
it's like a farmhouse kind of vibe. so you can
Yes.
see your whole property throughout the day, and you can move based on the sun.
It's also a little bit like battlements. Like you get the where you can stand in the protected area and survey the outside of your kingdom.
It's very true.
So maybe the porch, maybe it's a wraparound maybe the best porch is a wraparound porch that acts also as an elevator.
I mean, on that note, maybe the best porch is, castle battlements.
That's also so maybe
Yeah, like
it's
Merlins
castle
and
battlements that
things.
can raise and lower. Sorry, Jeff, what were you gonna say?
Well, like with murder holes and like crossbow notches and things
Exactly.
like Merlins
An
to block
oubliette
spears.
to drop people into.
Well, that's a non-combatant thing. I'm thinking purely the battlements, like during sieges and things. The oubliettes across the compound a bit.
Do we want to make a
So- So
star?
this is no longer a farmhouse.
Do we want to make a star-shaped
I think
porch
this is a castle
to
now.
defend against cannon fire?
Do we need
See,
a
that's the
moat?
problem. Once you start going from porch to castle, now you're in a whole different, wealth bracket. There's so many contractors over at the house all the time. Like, I like a nice, calm, clean, maybe two-sided wraparound.
I mean, you're not
porch.
going to be saying that when Genghis Khan's hordes come rolling over the hill, though, are you?
When Genghis Khan's hordes come rolling over the hill, Jeff, you're gonna want battlements that are of castle architecture strength. Like you don't. This is the perfect porch, and the thing is, in Good Ideas, Better World, right? We've already established that we think that people should have access to the things that they need, just by virtue of being people, and so ideally, everyone should have access. Like it should be public access porch contractors that build this porch at your house, and it's battlements porch, like a castle porch. Everyone should have the right to have a castle battlements, is what I'm saying, and what Kye, I think, is saying.
So let's just set a ceiling. Like, how many stairs do you have to, like, what's the height to get from our porch to the street, or say the side yard or the backyard? I think the whole function of a porch is to stand in between the living area or the inside area from the like walking around area.
I mean, a height that's reasonable that would stop like an armed soldier in full armor from being able to climb it easily is basically what you want. That's the point of.
So you want at
like
least
40
probably
feet, 60?
20 feet, 40 feet, maybe, but it's an elevator, right? So maybe we just do it to be safe. We build to the Minecraft build limit and stop there.
Yeah. So.
And the castle can go all the way up to the Minecraft build limit.
Good point.
What's the height
It's
on
already
a
coded.
Minecraft
So
build?
it's 255 meters, except the fact that like that's from like the bottom of the earth to the top of the sky. There is a bunch of ground between the bottom of the earth and the surface of the earth, and so like that varies in height. So it's no like
There's coding, there's zoning rules that apply in different neighborhoods and regions. So like I want to shoot for 60, and then maybe if we have to settle for 40 because of the city, needs or whatever, views and stuff. I think 40 feet's a good. I mean, how many sieges are they going to have? Like 100 feet tall towers or whatever,
I mean, Well, there is a point where like building a wall too high becomes self-destructive because now it has to support its own weight. You can only build stone structures so high.
That's true. That's true.
I like that it has an elevator, so it's accessible. Like I do want it to be fully ADA accessible.
I don't
That's
think
important.
it just has an elevator, Jeff. I'm saying this porch is the elevator. So we have pistons or whatever the heck that go that are buried deep into the ground beneath the porch.
Hold on. Does this mean that it starts out as a normal porch where you like take a few
and it
steps down
turns
to the
into
ground,
a castle battlements.
Okay, so if we're using
and then it elevates up 80 feet or whatever and locks in place up there?
puts a huge wall around your house and locks in place above your house so you can shoot down arrows at the soldiers that are running towards you with their swords drawn and their armor
So if
equipped.
we're using pistons for this,
I'm
really
still
cool.
not convinced this is a porch anymore.
if we're using Minecraft
How-
pistons, Minecraft pistons can only push 12 blocks, so that puts us at an upper limit of 12-meter tall wall.
So we should...
Yeah.
I think we should... Fuck the Minecraft pistons. We shouldn't use those. Let's get Elon on
Okay.
this. Okay? Call Elon Musk. Get him to figure out how to build like a giant super
Or
piston.
what about-
It'd be
what about
extremely
rockets?
phallic, so he would feel like he was compensating while he was doing it. It'd be good.
And hear me out. In the center of your
basically
house,
building. Go
in the
ahead.
center of your house, there's like a skylight which can open up, and then a rocket flies out of it. And then attached to this rocket are like chains which link to your porch, and that pulls the whole thing up. Can't go wrong.
I think that's Elon is too expensive. I think that's what we have to do. We're
Yeah.
gonna put this is a farmhouse anyway, right? We need to put a silo of the missile type in the middle of the house as sort of a round support. Like it's a support, it'll hold the rest of the house up, and also it'll store missiles.
So we're gonna
that will raise the
okay, guys.
battlements.
Hey, it's me,
hey,
Skilon
it's-
Musk.
it's Skilon Musk. Here he is.
Skilon Lusk. Simon Lusk. That's my name. Good to see ya. Here's my business card. I make elevated battlements and rockets, and I put them together. What do you think of my design?
It's a beautiful design, Skilon. I like the chains. Where did you get that idea?
From me, apparently.
Well, that was actually my top designer, Kye
What?
Dud.
Kye Manassas Dud is your best designer?
Yep, that's my top
It's a fitting name. It is a fitting name. It's very extravagant, and it also describes the personality of many scientists.
I mean, I'm an engineer, not a scientist, but sure.
Are you okay? I'm sorry. Oh, Kye Manassas. I didn't even realize you were the one I was talking to for a second
Because like
there.
engineers, we build and
where
design
did-
things, whereas a scientist would do the research. You know, like I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm a rocketeer, as it were.
That's fascinating.
I can't
Now,
imagine how
Kye
you could have
Manassas
become so ignorant.
is-
It's just like it baffles me.
You know, I live on this farm in the middle of nowhere, Kye Manassas, and it's really hard for me to get proper information about the difference between people who study biology and people who make missiles with their hands. They're pretty much the same thing.
I'm
in
just
my
gonna let that
book.
one slide.
Well, you're far smarter than I am, Kye Manassas. Your last name, not last name, the last part of your first name, excuse me, Gnosis does mean knowledge.
Oh, does it?
So-
I didn't know that.
Think or knowing or something like that. Something like that. I'll look it up and make sure that I got that right. Hey, G, come talk
Yeah.
to the contractors. I got to go to the bathroom and look up Gnosis on my dictionary.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to start attaching the chains.
I think my job is to come talk to you. Would you like some lemonade?
Oh, who
Because it's awfully hot out
who
here.
me?
Yeah.
Oh no,
You're the contractor, aren't you?
Simon, this is Jesus. Jesus makes the best lemonade. Also, blackberry lemonade, raspberry. There's something called the what do you call it? G. It's Tungle spunk berry.
See, I don't drink anymore on the
Correct.
account of my metal stomach. It's a cybernetic enhancement. Yes.
So you're a cyborg.
Yes.
You're a cyborg.
Well, we
engineer.
prefer the term half
No, I
human.
prefer the term cyborg.
I don't think anyone prefers that term.
You guys, I'm back. Here, Gnosis or Gnosis is a common Greek noun in chaos magic for it's a term and it's related to the term gnostikos, cognitive. It's knowledge of. It refers to an altered state of consciousness in which a person's mind is only focused on one point, thought, or goal, and all other thoughts are thrust out. is what gnosis is. And so
it's like a hyper-focus.
Sorry, I wasn't...
It's like a hyper-focus.
Sorry, I wasn't listening to that. I was too busy being hyper-focused on attaching these chains. Can you say that again?
Oh, that's what the dud means. You have no. You tried to have. Your parents were aiming for gnosis, but you were. I guess being a dud overrode.
Yeah, Sarah. What did you say? Absolutely.
Highly focused. I know that it. I pulled my headphones out, and it's hard for me to hear you guys without them in. Totally lost my train of thought. I'm
Aiden, Simon Lusk here. I wonder, have you ever thought about getting a metal stomach? I have a new design. Kye has the previous model. Anyway, Kye, just 1 second. Sidebar. Yes, Aiden and Jesus.
Hey.
We need to be careful around Kye. I have reason to believe that they're a secret intelligence asset, and they go from battlement to battlement, beating up my goons. I don't have any proof yet, but they are calling him the Rocketeer. So keep that under your hat.
I'll keep that under my hat. Hey, actually, not Kye, my sidebar is done, and I gotta ask you something. Could you come over here for a second?
I can speak from here. Hey, I actually have like metal ears as well. I can hear everything from like miles away.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna go use the bathroom at a McDonald's, and I'll try to talk to you from there. Sure. Okay, so there's a McDonald's like 3 miles from here. I'm gonna go there, and I'll talk to you from there. But 3 miles later. Kye, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, but unfortunately, I don't believe you'll be able to hear me because I'm speaking in normal volume.
I can't hear you, Kye. If you can hear me, Kye, I cannot hear you.
See, I'm going to give him a few minutes before he realizes how this works, and then I think
the manager is telling me I have to leave, but you probably know that.
Yeah, he's coming back, guys. You don't have to worry.
He says I'm yelling too loud.
He's yelling quite loud.
Oh, I see.
Yes. The manager's asking him to leave.
Yeah, that would track.
3 miles later. Hey, guys, I'm back. What are you talking about while I was gone?
Nothing much. Really.
I can never go to McDonald's anywhere in America again.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
No.
Apparently, internationally, they're much nicer, though, so, like, you at least haven't missed out on that.
Yeah.
I bet there's a story there.
Yeah, sidebar.
This guy that the contractor brought here, the engineer, that I thought was a scientist, said he wasn't a scientist, but the engineer, the guy who brought the engineer here said that the engineer is like a serial killer or something. I don't remember, but his name is the Rocketeer, and I'm afraid of him. He can hear from so far away.
Oh, I don't think that you should be afraid. I think that it's okay.
You don't think I should be afraid?
I don't. I think that you're just fine.
Okay.
Dud, what are they talking about?
Well, I don't answer you.
You're my employee. Come on. What are they talking about?
Well, yes, but you pay me to build rockets. You don't pay me to spy on people.
Well,
you forgot he's on a G sidebar over. You forgot he's not focused. Jeff, you forgot that he's not. I forgot. Sorry, Skilon. Fuck.
Simon.
I forgot. I was not focused, you guys. I'm sorry.
Now, I have an innovation. It's a new kind of paper plate, and I want to show you here. If you pull
you
out
brought paper plates?
If you pull out the ammo case there and you load in these depleted uranium shells, it becomes what I like to call the plate to end all plates.
Plate to end all plates. That's smart. That's smart. Plate.
So how would this
hey, question for your plate.
End all plates exactly?
Well, I mean, it's not a design meeting. I left some of my materials in the car, but you know, I mean, we can.
Hey, the burgers I'm cooking are gonna burn. I just need to ask a question really quick. What cheese do you want on your burger? I have American and I have Munster.
American is fine.
Okay. What about for you, Skilon and G?
Munster.
Simon. I'll take Munster. I'll take a Munster.
Simon. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Right.
I was not focused. I'll be right back with the burgers. I was going to bring them from McDonald's, but they wouldn't sell anything to me on my way out.
That is simply tragic. So these plates.
Jesus, these cookies are amazing, by the way. Jesus?
I'm back with the burgers.
Boy.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
There's just a tray floating there with lemonade on it.
Ooh, a floating tray. That's good. Okay, so G, you
drunk,
argued that you
forgotten
don't think
lemonade.
this is a porch anymore. Let's get out of the fiction for a bit. We're off the porch now. We're talking in our design lab. G,
Yeah.
you think that this battlements thing is not really a porch anymore.
No,
What are your thoughts? Yeah.
I think that once you put battlements on it, it becomes like a wall.
Well, it's not on it. It's adjustable. So it is the battlements. The porch is on top of the wall.
So
And from what we agreed earlier, a balcony is just a porch that's higher up.
and balconies have to live on walls, you know? You can't have a balcony without a wall, otherwise it's
So
some sort
I
of...
think the definition of a balcony, though, is that
It's
it
a
has to
floating
come.
balcony.
It has to come out of something. Like it has to. And
It can be on pillars, like at a hotel.
right,
Or
but
like
like
a fancy old southern house.
I think just walking atop a battlement that does not count as
Well, the battlements, they do
a
like,
balcony or
come
a
out a
porch.
fair ways because like they often have like those murder holes they have to shoot down, you know?
The platonic ideal of a porch is a place that's easily accessible to the road or the yard.
As opposed to
Battlements
being
not typically,
inaccessible.
you know,
I see.
it doesn't fit.
I think
That
we
way.
solve that by having rockets that shoot in the opposite direction back towards the ground so we can lower the porch back down after it becomes battlements.
Yes.
What if we make it less
Although
like
sometimes when
defensive?
So it's on a pulley system then.
yeah,
No, the rockets
it's
just
on a
fly
pulley
straight
system.
into the
Elevator
ground.
porch.
You know, like
Well, yeah,
But
I mean, it's
sometimes
pulled, but
rocketeers can grab those lines as you're coming down. They can sneak up those and then attack, and that's dangerous.
This is the first thing from Good Idea that I've wanted to draw in a long time. Just like a porch that has 4 chains connected to each corner of the porch that wraps around the house, and it's disconnected from the house, and it gets the chains are all connected to a fucking missile that's inside the house that launches and pulls the chains up and pulls the porch up into the air. That's wild.
Okay, I
Literally,
have
all I
wild.
can think of is like whenever you're in a tree house as a kid and you like throw a rope over a branch and you tie a bucket to the end of the rope and you use the bucket to like bring things up and down.
I have a
Yeah, it's
I have a
kind of
thought,
like that. It's
and I
kind of
wanna,
like that.
I have a thought, and I want to
What's
like
your
float
thought?
it by you guys. It's 2 words: crocodile moat. What do we think?
Crocodile moat. Have you heard that Elton John song, Crocodile Moat?
I'm a big fan
When
of
the
that Elton
porch
John
goes
song, Crocodile
up,
Moat.
guys,
Moat.
check this out. I was trying to think what goes under the porch. When the porch rises up, it goes up and like, you know, like cool, like dirt and grass and stuff drops off it as it rises. Under it, crocodile moat.
Oh, there's a wall. No. There's a wall. There has to be a crocodile moat. That's so good though. So maybe only part of the thing has a wall, and then around the wall is also a crocodile moat. So like half of the porch is supported by a wall, so it sticks out a little bit, and it has like the battlement walkway sticks out a bit over the edge of the wall. But the wall doesn't take up the entire bottom of the porch, which would leave room. I feel like I'm on House Hunters right now. Which would leave room for the ones where they talk about like the generation renovation.
Yeah.
And they talk about like the ways that they're going to make the house really rad. Anyway, the
beautiful
moat would
thing-
surround the wall that would only cover half of the bottom of the porch, and the other half of
Exactly.
the bottom of the porch would cover over the moat.
And so the
Kye,
beautiful
what were
thing
you gonna
about the
say?
moat is that like it also stops petards from getting too close to the wall, where they can start undermining it. You know, because the crocodiles eat them,
Yeah, you don't want to get goosed on by your own petard either. So
or by somebody else's.
that
petard.
would be, or by anyone's petard.
The wall needs to be high enough
it would
that the
prevent you
crocodiles
from feeling tempted. Sorry, go ahead.
The wall needs to be high enough so the crocodiles can't like form a pyramid and crawl up over it.
World War Z style.
That's true. So we were trying to defend against soldiers, but you're right. The crocodiles might turn against us if we forget to feed them for a little bit too long, or if we don't, like, because the only way we can feed our crocodiles, really, they only eat people. We have to make people want to attack our castle to get food into the crocodiles' mouths. So we basically have to be Hunter S. Thompson type farmer, like shooting bullets from the farm, angering people and getting them to attack our space.
Or do we just have something that people really, really want?
Oh, maybe we advertise a great treasure.
Or maybe like an experience, you know? Like we can provide the siege experience, you know? Maybe we attract LARPers.
Oh, LARPers would be there, the siege experience. But we would, you know what would be even better is if, like in Legend of Zelda, Stink of the Link, they have weapons everywhere, right? You can get the weapons. And sometimes they're just buried in the ground. We like bury swords and armor, like real swords and armor outside our house. And then we post on the internet that we are an Airbnb that provides the siege experience.
And so the siege experiences with LARPers and the swords are for the archaeologists.
The swords are for the archaeologists. Sorry, the what is for the LARPers?
The siege. Yeah.
Sorry, you're cutting out for a second.
Oh.
I thought of a problem.
What's the problem?
The rocket that we're using to pull the walls up into the air, the rocket that we're using instead of pistons on this pulley system, if it doesn't have the ability to continue its thrust, what sort of system do we have to keep the wall standing when it comes up? Does it like lock itself into place?
I think we just get a rocket that can continue its thrust, you know, like an ion drive.
Okay, so that would also warm your house too in the cold winter months if you wanted to insulate using the wall and then sort of keep the space, keep your house warm. The only thing is we couldn't build it's a farmhouse, but we couldn't build any of it out of wood now.
Because the fire?
I mean, we could build it out of stone.
It's going to have to be stone, guys.
It's going to have to be a stone farmhouse, you guys.
The stone, most of the house is a big old... Most of the house is just a big square, right? Like a keep.
Yeah.
But it's covered up by like aluminum siding, maybe, or like a painted wood. And then there's doors that look like normal farm doors, but on the interior, it's like a 2-foot thick stone portion.
But basically what you're saying...
Maybe you paint it to look like normal.
Basically what you're saying is this farmhouse that G said couldn't be a castle is still a farmhouse, but is square and made of stone, has battlements and a moat. Right?
And a rocket.
And a rocket.
And an elevator.
Just like a farmhouse.
A silo. Well, no, the elevator does it have an elevator inside the house too? Because outside the house the elevator is the porch itself. There would have to be a control panel on the porch, and it would just be like maybe like one big stone lever, and you pull it, and it activates a rocket that's connected to a bunch of chains.
You would need to have a smaller internal elevator. Otherwise, if you're on the porch when the rockets go off, now you're in the air and you can't get down. The only way down is into the crocodile mode, and nobody wants that, except maybe the crocodiles.
Oh yeah, the wall that gets pulled up by the rocket. Also, in order to avoid melting the wood that would be covering up the sides of the house,
that's made of stone,
we could just have longer chains that would have the rocket go further into the air before it starts pulling the thing up, so it gets further away from the house before it starts continuing its thrust while being stuck to the ground. And we'd have to have just some sort of sawtooth on the walls that come up, so it wouldn't get pulled out of the ground. So we would need to reinforce the area around the moat, and the moat would have to be the thing, I think. Like maybe we use metal or stone to build the moat and then sawtooth the wall so it gets stuck as it hits the moat on its way out. So the thing that holds the water.
Can we embed like chunks of obsidian in the top of the stone there at the wall where the porch lifts up, you know, that protects the outside from the crocodiles? Can we put like nasty jagged things up there?
I mean, alternatively,
I think
we could train some of the crocodiles that when like when we lift up the porch, they all like leap in action and grab hold of it and stop it from flying away.
I maintain that this is no longer a porch.
But we defined porch at the beginning as a certain thing.
Yeah, we did.
It's like if you're in debate, right? If you're in debate and you whatever they're called at the beginning, where they make up rules about how the debate is going to be had. If you're in debate in like high school or whatever, we might for this debate assume that God is real, God of the gaps type thing or whatever. Like or if it was a debate about Christianity, they might say it, or about morals inside Christianity, they might make a rule of the debate that we're going to assume that the Bible is to be read in a certain way, something like that. So are we going to agree? And we can change these things.
Yeah.
I think. But if we're going to change it, we need a reason why.
In that case, I think we should define porch once and for all as being a thing that resembles our rocket battlement thing. Exactly. And all other porches are false porches and should be burned.
Okay, so now we need
Yes!
to redefine the Platonic ideal. So whenever people think of a porch, they think of this.
Exactly.
So we need to
a
get down to
mass
the
media
basics.
marketing campaign.
This is
Okay,
the
so what are the
divine
fundamentals
porch.
of our rising battlement porch?
Wait. Hold on. Before we get to the fundamentals, just one more thing. The way we define, the way we get everyone to believe that this is what a porch is and burn all the other porches is that we say we are going to give everyone free porches out of the goodness of our heart. We donate them because earlier we were talking about how everyone has a right to have a good porch, right? This is important. Like, this is about the protection and safety of our citizens as well as their leisure and porch hangout comfort. It's
that
both,
Genghis Khan chap,
and it's really important that we provide it to them. Genghis Khan is a problem.
Still.
I'll be honest with you guys. I did not expect that Genghis Khan would come back this year. That
Genghis
was
Khan. It was. Go ahead.
I just, that's just one more thing, right?
It is one more thing.
Corona,
it's one more thing. Corona,
and,
lockdown,
police brutality, and then boom, here we are at
Genghis Khan.
hordes.
There he is, back from the dead.
the Mongol hordes. I mean, at least it'll be a good distraction from social media, which is really, I think, the worst thing that's happening in 2020. Social media might be worse than Genghis Khan.
I mean, have you seen Genghis Khan's social media?
It's very possible. Social media's got a lot of good things. Genghis Khan's social media. Actually, Genghis Khan only posts memes, so it's kind of a nice.
Hang on. While we're chatting, I'm gonna check to see if Genghis Khan has a Twitter account. I bet he does.
I'm gonna go get everyone some coffee.
All of Genghis Khan. Okay, Jess can go get everyone some coffee.
Hey, I'm joining back in on my phone.
Welcome back. Are you still?
I'm still
Is your
recording.
recording
Yeah, I'm recording offline, so that's all good. My computer has some sort of issues. I don't know. I'll figure it out later.
Kye, you were looking at Genghis Khan's Twitter?
Well, I was, but I was getting distracted, making everything not.
Genghis Khan has a Twitter?
Maybe it was Twitter's fault.
Well, that's what I was trying to.
This is what I'm saying. Social media is pretty bad.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
Yeah.
Shut down the internet. It's all Twitter's fault. We lost Kye for a second there. We're back now. Okay, we invented this porch. It's G and G still thinks it's not really a porch, right? But Kye has suggested that we completely reframe what everyone thinks that a porch is in order to make this porch that we've designed, the perfect porch, available to every American and to be accepted and understood as the Platonic ideal of the porch. My suggestion for that was to make it available to every American for free, the way that you might give everyone education or healthcare, because they should have that for their entire lives. My grandfather referred to it as cradle to grave education. I thought that was cool. I'm sure he didn't probably come up with that term, but it's a good term and I like it a lot.
It is a good term.
We need to have it. And he suggested maybe it be online, and that way it wouldn't have to be like a human resources thing. I got so sidetracked there. That was just one more thing before we finished addressing the problem. So porches, everyone should have porches that are this porch. that would change what the meaning of a porch is. G, do you agree?
I agree that it would change what the meaning of a porch is.
You know,
Okay,
what's good
now,
about
if
this
we-
porch is as long as the screen is intact, it will still keep your cat from getting out.
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about the screen. The screen would have to have holes in it so you could shoot arrows out of them.
Multiple screens
Or so
between
you could
Merlins,
throw,
maybe.
What if a rogue got up onto the battlements though and broke their way into the battlements? They like just used a grappling hook or something. They got up there, ripped the screen off.
I mean, that's why we electrify the screen.
Right,
that's
right,
good.
right.
But what if they have rubber gloves on?
Well, then they
Well,
deserve
that's the
to
thing.
do that, frankly. You know,
Guys-
if they came that prepared, you know, I'm prepared to concede.
That's fair. I'm prepared to let them take everything.
You know.
But I'm just saying, what if I want to... I just think we need to have one side, like we need to have maybe every 5 feet a hole in the screen that where you can throw a bad guy off the side and into the moat.
The problem with rockets is they go both ways, right? We shoot rockets down to elevate, and these rocketeers come up our lines. You know, rockets are dangerous. So yeah, you
Wait, are
can't
we
just-
shooting rockets into the earth?
Isn't that how we're going up? I thought that was how we were going
No,
up.
I thought we were shooting a rocket into the air that would have a continued thrust
Oh, okay.
attached to a bunch of chains. I think that the pulley system where you shoot it down and the chains go over fulcrum might even be better, though.
I mean, that sounds kind of complicated to me. I don't think that'll like really
It does
work.
sound kind of complicated. I think just
And
shooting
there's
a
probably
rocket
too
up
many
into the air is
logistical
better.
issues, you know? Like, I can't see it working realistically.
Although it might be easier to effectively heat the house by shooting the rocket into the ground. You could probably control the way that heat is redirected a little better.
Guys, my design is completely upside down now. Now we might have to worry about Rocketeer like commandos, like coming in from above. You know?
Oh yeah, like Kai Manassas comes down with his buddies.
He just comes down line swinging.
Well, so what if our rocket that is holding the chain high up into the air, we see an incoming war blimp with some Rocketeers on it, and they jump out of the war blimp and parasail towards our establishment, and they're trying to fly over the battlements and between the chains and under the rocket. Now, it will be really hard for them not to get burned by the fire, but what if our rocket, in case our enemy is coming from the sky and not from the ground, because it's not like we necessarily are going to have... Maybe in a situation where you have enemies coming from the sky and enemies on the ground, you got to maybe leave the wall up and then deal with the enemies in the sky by shooting them from the battlements.
Yeah.
What if when you have no enemies on the ground and the wall is up, you can put the wall up even when you see enemies coming from the sky, because when the rocket reaches its zenith, it then sits there, or zenith, or however the fuck you pronounce that, it then sits there and you can detonate it at any time, or it will automatically detonate if anything flies too close to your castle.
See,
But what
then the
happens to
problem
the
is
porch then?
The porch then falls, and we're now open to attack from the ground.
Can't do it.
Well,
No,
yeah,
no.
but
there's a whole series of countermeasures. But I do like the idea of flak. Like if you blow it up maybe 10 feet up or whatever, maybe a directed charge so it doesn't hurt any of your stuff.
What about
because you don't want to be constantly
anti-missile
picking up
laser?
like broken vases and such.
a what laser?
It's an anti-missile laser. You see, like Boeing have made an anti-missile laser, and they fit it on the front of a plane. If we could procure one of those, I know some dealers. Don't worry about it.
Could we then go ahead?
And then we could use that to shoot down any paratroopers. Now that would be, yes, a war crime, but is that going to stop us?
Well, it's not going to stop us, though, because the fact is they're paratroopers and they're coming to assault our castle. And we Americans believe that people have a right to protect themselves and that they should have a right to a porch with battlements and
not
weaponry.
just that. Energy
and
weapons
rockets.
used against humans is against the Geneva Convention, but...
That's
Hey,
why you get
guys.
around it by hitting their
This
their
is why we
rocket.
have you here from Australia, Kai,
Hey,
to
guys.
remind us that we need to actually follow the law. What, G?
So we're assuming that people are going to be on this porch all day defending it, right?
Just
Like
during a
watching for attackers.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Right? Is this what we're assuming?
I think
guess
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, how are we going to keep them comfortable?
That's a good question.
Because the rockets are going to get real hot.
I mean, they're going to get real hot.
Well,
Are they going to get
yes.
pleasantly warm?
I think they're going to get real hot. They're
Dang.
fire powered.
I think G might be right.
I was really
They might
hoping
get
for
real
pleasantly
hot.
warm, you know? Like that sort of
Well,
whole
no, but
design.
remember we talked earlier that we could lengthen the chains and have the rocket go further into the air and away from the house before it continues its thrust in place.
So weather exists.
Okay.
So my question again is, how are we going to keep our defenders comfortable?
Have you heard of anti-missile lasers?
Yeah, shoot down all the raindrops.
Shoot down all the
Shoot down
raindrops.
all the raindrops. Okay, but
And also, for the sake of irony, if you can affix an anti-missile laser to the front of a plane, I'm sure you could affix it to the head of a missile.
I
Okay.
don't see why not.
fair.
I mean, it's not as if they're like
so
attaching a device made to destroy
rain is
missiles, putting
solved.
that on the very missile.
What about
What could
heat?
go wrong? Well, we just build it somewhere cold.
What?
Build it somewhere taller? What?
We just build it somewhere cold.
Oh, that's smart. Build it somewhere cold. I think Kai has a very good point there. We have to relocate all people to cold locations because these rockets are going to protect people from the cold. This is a heating solution. This is like even better than thermal energy. No one has ever thought to use explosives to power America. People are like, let's use geothermal energy. Let's use solar power. Let's use coal. Who's using rockets to power America? Nobody.
Whole like nuclear energy sort of solution was that, but that's a whole discussion for another time.
We don't like to bring that up. Yeah.
Well, nuclear energy that's not using missiles to power things. That's geothermal, right? Like it's just
They heat
or
up
is it using
water
missiles to
and
power
use the
things?
steam to turn
No, I don't know
turbines.
shit. Is that what nuclear energy is? I don't know shit.
Most energy production involves heating water to turn it to steam, whether that's coal or
Yeah.
geothermal or even nuclear. It's a good way to transfer heat into electricity.
And that's why they have those big towers.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so can we breed crocodiles that are super, super good at radiating heat or at dealing with intense amounts of heat and then boil the crocodile
Oh my
river?
God, guys. Our
use
castles
the
are
steam
now
from the
powered by
crocodile river?
geothermally heated water that's powered up by radioactive crocodiles.
And because the crocodiles are in the water and we slowly boil it, they don't notice.
It's like the glow stick puppies.
You know, they just don't notice they're in boiling water because they're
Right, they
basically
should
numb.
evolve if we slowly heat the water to boiling. They
Well, it's
should
like
evolve.
throwing a kid into the pool to have them learn to swim, but
Right.
instead it's throwing a crocodile into boiling water to have it learn to live in boiling water.
Hell yeah.
That's what happens to lobsters. They're immortal. When you eat a lobster,
Right,
that thing's
that
still
seems
alive.
safe.
It's still alive.
Yeah, there's a lobster
You just
inside
eat
every
it,
one
and
of
then-
us. Unless you haven't eaten a lobster.
There's a lobster inside all of us.
I've never eaten
You
lobster.
guys, you've
Yeah, me
never eaten
neither.
lobster?
I've
I don't know
never
that
had
I've eaten
lobster.
lobster either.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've
Hey,
had
guess what?
lobster
We're free
either.
of the parasites known as lobsters.
Genghis Khan only posts memes. Jeff
Yeah.
has posted in the group chat a picture of the battlement rocket porch that he's drawn, and it's really, really
Speaking
stellar.
speaking of Genghis Khan, I did find Genghis Khan's Twitter account. I wouldn't recommend visiting it. It's all scams, all of it. It's just like links to scams.
Oh,
all scams.
weak.
Oh, actually, hang on. Wait, no,
It's
no.
like we need heads to throw into the enemy
No,
base.
if I scroll
Is
back
your
to
head one that we can use?
If I scroll back
We'll give you
past
$50.
December 8th, 2009, it becomes real posts. So like, hang on, what's one? Are any of them good? Hang on. FYI, I'm totes Team Jacob. At least his ancestors practiced a form of shamanism.
So that's Genghis Khan's Twitter account for you, everybody.
Yep.
We built a cool porch. You can expect one of these to arrive at your house pretty soon.
As long as your
it will
house
be
is
installed
mostly
by
square and made of stone. We
and
can,
in a cold place. And then other than that, you're going to need to send us a letter and get on a waiting list to get one of these porches. They are free and available to every American. If you refer 3 friends, you get a bonus porch built for your doghouse, and the dog with a small doggy lever that activates their rocket.
Not everyone knows that sometimes Rocketeers go after the doghouse first, so it's not a bad idea to get a tower for your dog and an elevator porch.
Yes, and so everyone has incentive to spread this and just get everybody writing letters. This will also get everybody writing letters again, which will make grandmas happy, because the only way to get a porch is to write a request letter. And then if you do end up writing a request letter, you get they'll send you 3 sheets of blank paper to give to each of your 3 friends that you're trying to enlist to get the dog porch. Does anybody have anything else before we go into wrapping up the show? I think we've done a very nice job here.
No, I think that's it.
Aside
Well,
from the
I
fact
would
that,
like to thank Kye Manassas for coming. Really
yes, it
brought
was a
a
pleasure to
certain-
be here, I suppose. I do have to go. I have to secure this plate to destroy all other plates and take over the world with it. But yes, thank you.
Kye's got to blow some stuff up.
With that, I'll bid you adieu.
Activate the electrified screen!
I really just hit the buttons on the synthesizer because I hadn't used it yet, and I felt like it might be somewhat jarring to listen to an episode of this podcast at this point without hearing it anywhere.
I mean,
just
people
put it
have
in.
started taking our episodes and making fat beats with them. So it really is important to get a little of the good idea juice going before we wrap it up.
There was one where they made it sound like I said a lot of bad words, and I don't know how they did that.
Amazing.
It was kind of upsetting. I think the power of deep faking in audio is just unimaginable. So there you have it. That marks the end of our porch building session that we did while all hanging out on a porch. We're all floating up in the air now, and there's the pleasant heat of the thrust of a rocket burning bright above us and down onto our backs, warming our bodies in a very positive way. We all did a very nice job designing here. We thank you so much for joining us for that. What was everybody's favorite idea of the episode?
I think we covered porches really well.
Yeah, we did cover
Really,
porches
I mean, we
well.
came at it from all angles, mostly battlement related, but
We came at it just like the soldiers that will attack your porch and be killed by your burning crocodiles.
pretty
we
much
did
just
it
straight
better than
on
they did.
from the air.
I mean, this is like, I think Tesla, Elon, if you hear this, I think that this is something that needs to be built and needs to be made available to every person on the planet. I keep saying every American. I really think that we need to get past nationality in that way and really give porches to everybody. It's kind of a...
Once we all have battlement porches, we won't need borders.
We should
We
probably...
won't need borders once we all have battlement porches.
I've just had a thought. It's an interesting thing, and I know we're wrapping up, but in Aboriginal culture in Australia, they don't really like porches because, traditionally, buildings are supposed to have an indoor and an outdoor space, and they're supposed to be separate. And so this sort of halfway, porch veranda thing is a bit of a faux pas, which has been an issue when, if ever Aboriginal person's been put in public housing and has a veranda, it's just that's a bit, it's not really on, Yeah.
The grass or the flowers or whatever should go right up to the door rather than outdoor patios and stuff.
That makes some sense, and I understand that that's a cultural thing, but I think it's our burden really to make sure that everyone everywhere has access to a porch.
Has access to it should they want one.
Exactly.
No.
Culturally sensitive.
I don't think you understand.
Outdoor solutions. Oh, that can be our tagline. Culturally sensitive outdoor solutions.
And all that really, that you understand that sounds like something Donald Trump would say about building his wall.
Ooh,
He'd be
yikes.
like, it doesn't
We're trying
stop.
to take down
It doesn't
borders.
stop. we're trying to take down borders, but what I'm saying is that we need to be careful because culturally sensitive outdoor solutions in reference to building walls around everything.
I don't love it. I do not love it.
But it's effective marketing, so I'm into it. Let's try that. I think anyone else have favorite idea of the episode?
I think
like
George brought a lot to this episode.
You were being George today, Jeff. That's some egotistical favorite idea stuff there you got going on.
I'm sorry. I know. When I get George, when I get a little George in me, I kind of lose my head a little bit. You know, I kind of act a little looser. You know,
when I get Kye, how about you?
Oh yeah, I'm with G. I like the part where we talked about porches for sure. Yeah,
that's a good part.
Yeah,
But Kye, your bit about the rockets and the chains, it got me so hard, and I can't stop smiling about it.
I'm glad. I'm glad he liked it.
Yeah, that's I think my favorite specific idea. Picks of the week. So it's a piece of media or art or whatever culture or a person or idea that inspires you.
Shall I go first?
Go first.
Yeah,
do it. Thank you, Kye.
I've been reading. Well, I've been listening to an Audible, but I've been reading a book called Black Emu. It's by a guy called Bruce Pascoe, and he's a historian. He's writing about Aboriginal Australian history, specifically the pre-colonial economy. And about primarily how much farming the Aboriginal people did and how that information has been erased from our current understanding of them. It's really interesting and very challenging. And myself, as someone who thought I knew about Australian history, I've been redefining like what I knew about it, and it's been really cool. Yeah.
Did you say the name of the book?
Black Emu, yes.
Perfect. I think you cut out for a second, so I didn't hear you if you said it before.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to say more than once, you know?
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you. G, pick of the week?
Sorry. Before you do, sorry. It was Dark Emu, not Black Emu.
Just one more thing.
It was Dark Emu, not Black Emu. My bad. Said the wrong word.
Dark Emu.
All right, so Dark Emu.
By Bruce Pascoe.
G, pick of the week.
Yeah. I've been reading a book called The People Who Stayed. It's Southeastern Native American writing. It's actually, the title is Southeastern Indian Writing After Removal. It's Native American writing after the Trail of Tears happened. People who either escaped or managed to stay out of the Trail of Tears. And it's pretty good. I've been trying to read a lot of stuff from my history, stuff from Black history, stuff from, people of color history recently. So that's what I'm on right now.
That's really cool. I was going to be silly and talk about an actual play podcast that I love called Pretend Friends, but getting back into activism and organizing and trying to help out with Black Lives Matter has been like totally awesome. And just in the same way that G is getting in touch with books and stuff about these issues, like I've just been talking to people, like reading posts, watching videos, and just trying to be as useful in this moment as I can. And I'm just so proud of especially the local organizers in my town, New Generation 2.0 and Tacoma Protest Daily, Legally Black. One I just went to a rally with that I can't remember the name of. I'll get him next time. But anyway, I just want to say it's not that hard to help out. And yeah, there's tons of different ways you can be of service or learn more. So I'm glad you brought that up, G. That's cool.
What about you, Aiden?
I was saying earlier I was listening to The Hero with 1,000 Faces audiobook. So I'm going to go with that because I don't have anything else popping into my head at the moment. It's a very good book. I recommend it. I recommend audiobooks in general, especially if you don't like reading and looking at pages. I feel like books are extremely important ways to interact with other human beings by reading. It's like a really intimate way to know someone else's experience and to learn from it. Whether it's nonfiction, fiction, or otherwise, I think books are very valuable. So my pick of the week is books in general, audiobooks, if not written books, and specifically The Hero with 1,000 Faces, which is a book about stories and the history
you can get that at a
of
library
myth and culture.
Yeah, you can pick that up anywhere.
Well, not anywhere. But
Yes,
Well,
not
you know,
anywhere. Not
where you
maybe
get
like
sound.
if
Sound things.
you know. All I know is I heard that there's a stone farmhouse with this great treasure trove of books, and I was gonna go there and try to seize the books from the house. And I will let you guys know if this book is there, and then we'll really know if it's anywhere.
Can I say just one more thing?
No.
Yeah, just one more thing. No, G, stop it.
There's
Jeff
some
can say one more
controversy.
thing.
I'll wait.
one more thing, and then we'll
Just one more
introduce
thing.
ourselves.
I just want to thank you guys so much for making this another wonderful recording session. I love you, Kye. You're great. There's one thing I wanted to promote, and it is the Black Lives Matter conversations I've been having over at Everything is Awesome, another podcast I do here on Sinister Parent Company Network. I didn't say that right. Anyway, I'd love for everybody to go check that out. I'm going to try to do more from different perspectives. Folks should check that out.
Thank you. Does anyone else have anything to plug?
Pretty regularly another podcast host on a Dungeons and Dragons podcast called Crit Chat. Unlike a lot of other Dungeons and Dragons podcasts, we don't play D&D. Instead, we give advice for Dungeon Masters. And as much as that advice is useful and helpful, there's a lot of jokes and goofs there as well. So yeah, if you're interested in that, check it out. It's called Crit Chat. You can find that wherever podcasts are found.
Thank you, Kye. One more thing, you can find me on Twitter and other Sinister Parent Company shows on Twitter. You can look those up at Sin Parent Co. And you can find me at Kinsella Aiden. I'm trying very hard not to be on Twitter almost ever at this point, but I try to also post the things that I do and make for people there. That's all I have. I don't think we have any more things.
I mean,
so
people
I'm
should send us emails or go on our Facebook page.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Jeff is right.
iTunes reviews, all that stuff, because we definitely love interacting with y'all. Yeah, the more we can get in our customers' ears, you know, and with them in our mouths, or I don't know. I'm not saying this right. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
We want to get our if you're listening to this, we want to get you. You are our customer, and we want to get you into our mouth and out into the microphone. And
right, your words.
I think
we
what
can
Jeff
take your words and shape them into the magical melody that is the Good Idea property.
I think Jeff is saying you should send us emails for things about like what we should talk about on the show or ideas that you have that we should explore. And I totally agree. You can email us at goodideapodcast@gmail.com. I think it's that full email. I'm going to check. Yeah, it is goodideapodcast@gmail.com. It's a great place to reach us. Send us ideas or letters to the world, whatever. We'll talk about it. Or you can tweet us on Twitter at goodideacast. Kye, I want to thank you again so much for joining us. George wasn't able to make it today, and Kye was just like, hey, I'm free if you guys want a guest. And I was like, hell yeah. And we were all like, hell yeah. And it was really nice having you. So thank you for being here.
Great to be here. It's been a while coming. Yeah.
So
we will
much
absolutely
fun.
have you back.
Absolutely. I'll be glad to.
That was
I'll be
good
glad to
idea,
do
you
that.
guys.
Just
try
one
that
more
again.
thing.
Just one more thing. Hold on. Jeff's got one more thing.
In honor of George Diaz this week, what's your Shyamalan twist?
My Shyamalan twist is that I am actually a robot, and I have been sent here to create this podcast to influence the people who listen it in the direction of being supporters of love and awareness and of questioning things. I'm really just a robot. How about you, Kye?
My
What's your
Shyamalan twist is that I was never here. I'm not on this podcast. I'm not. My head isn't on the cover. George is on this podcast.
Your head is only on the cover of Soiree, and even that is a head connected to your whole body, so we
Exactly.
don't even know if that's a real head.
I think we addressed this at the beginning, but you know, it is this is our world award-winning segment. Just one more thing.
G, how about you?
I was on the porch the whole time.
My Shyamalan twist is that this whole thing has been just one more thing from the beginning.
So what is the final thing after the ultimate sort of end state?
Scene. But cut out the scene part, so that's just Kye's line is the last line.
So what is the final thing after the ultimate sort of end state? The ultimate sort of end state. Are we then going to have...
No, we got to say the outro. Here, we got to say... Oh, go ahead, Kye. Just one more thing. Go ahead.
The problem is then, though, am I going to say that thing about the end and then it's going to be like, what is it? The funny thing about this podcast is just kind of ends? Is that how that's going to go?
Yeah, that'll be there too.
Yeah.
And there'll be that, there'll be music, and I still have to say the outro, so the
I
other
got
thing,
cupcakes for the occasion. If you guys want those are over on the table there.
I actually was hoping that you would have brought paper plates, because I did make cupcakes. Kye, what was the cool thing that you said that Jeff wanted to end the episode on?
So what is the final thing after the ultimate sort of end state? The ultimate sort of end state. I have no idea.
Shit. See, that's the problem. It wasn't an organic ending. Let's try and let's get an organic ending. Okay, ready?
End state.
After I'm gonna say this has been a good idea, and after that you got to say some dope shit.
Oh no,
okay?
sorry. Yeah. So I didn't know what it was. I was alluding to the fact that like it's a mystery. You know, like how would we ever know what that end state is? You know, that's what I was getting at. End state. I have no idea.
Kye's giving us multiple looks. Kye, give us one last take on this bit with feeling.
That was a good idea. Now, Kye, you do it.
Well, I don't know what I'm doing.
Say the dope shit.
Is this what you want? Is this the perfect end that you were looking for? And I don't think it is, but it's what we've got. End state.
We're done here.
This episode is really interesting, too, because it just sort of ends.
We have a special treat for you. Oh my god, I love special treats. I fucking knew it.
Well, get on the ground and listen.
No, I'm just kidding. You may stay standing. What follows is pretty much everything that happened after we started recording and before the episode began. Please enjoy or bail if it's not for you. And now, forward without further ado.
You'll be closer to the rest of us. Sounds like an odd, like it's almost like a family sitcom, but it didn't quite make it.
Possibly like a family sitcom, like horror crossover sort of thing, like Too Many Cooks, you know?
Yes.
Too many cooks in the kitchen, spoil the family. You're one of us, almost one of us. I don't remember what the actual phrase was.
Ooh, we could write a horror movie.
Yeah, we could.
What if some nut got it into their head that this big family that lives in kind of a mansion decided they had too many kids and they had to winnow them down?
I mean,
that's very funny.
Like there's a bunch of kid ghosts in the house now. Is that the idea?
Yeah, like maybe the nanny or the gardener or the cook, or maybe all of them, or maybe you don't know right away, like Jaws. Or wait, you know Jaws is it?
My brothers and I got kicked out of the house so many times.
Yeah, I mean we're pretty sure Jaws is a shark at the start of the film.
Right? Yeah, that's the bad reference.
How good would Jaws have been if like halfway through you realize like, oh no, Jaws is a cyborg from the future, you know? Jaws was never really a shark at all. Man, that would have been...
Or what if the whole time it was that crazy boat captain?
Exactly.
Brady.
That would have been totally wild, honestly.
I'm recording. Please leave it alone.
Leave me alone.
He's outside trying to get my attention.
I'm recording.
Can't have that.
Mom, shut up. I'm recording in here. Come on, Mom. I'm trying to write a song. Okay, what's our warm-up?
That wasn't warm enough.
No, I don't think that was warm enough. We gotta all get on. I want to do something like fucking occult, like something where we all chant. That's important. Chanting is good. Let's all get in this. No, it's good. It's really good. And
So,
pranayama, like breath control, huge.
I did buy this codex
shit.
the other day. Like, it's sort of like Cyborg's Guide to Summoning Demons. I don't know what it's about, but like, give it a go.
Okay, we could give that a go.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of Aleister Crowley books in my house. Latu. Is that what we're gonna chant? Latu.
Latu.
What does that mean?
I can't make my voice do that, y'all.
Verata.
Latu. So, G, you could go for the minor third.
The fucking harmony.
Latu. I don't know if I know what the minor third is. So if it was like Latu, and you could be like Latu. I don't know, something that's I don't know. It's nothing.
It does say we need a sacrifice. So Aiden, I think
A
it's
sacrifice.
Oh, the
It's me on the
sacrifice
sacrifice
is our
Shit.
dignity.
Shit. The sacrifice is our dignity on the altar of
dignity?
brilliance.
Does that count as a blood sacrifice?
What dignity? G does it count as a blood sacrifice?
Does dignity
That's
have
an
blood?
That's a good
emotional
question.
It's an emotional sacrifice.
It's an emotional sacrifice. Jeff, you need to say I'm George Diaz when you introduce yourself today.
Okay.
I mean, hang on.
Okay,
Surely I would say I'm George
It's an
Diaz,
important
wouldn't
joke.
I? Or would I be Jeff?
No, it's just because I've been doing this dumb spoof every other
Jeff
show.
says I'm George Diaz like every time he introduces himself, and it's very funny.
It'll be funnier with George not here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It'll be a good pattern heightening,
I'd
and then
say.
George will hear it, and then it'll be like months from now, and George will hear it, and he'll be like, "Oh shit, this is great."
Are you sure we shouldn't go completely over the top with it and we all say that?
Like a sort of a
all
Spartacus
say
situation.
I'm George Diaz. I think that might be bullying, if only because of only because of the fact that I have done 6 episodes of Straight Off the Top of My Headlines with AJ that haven't been released, all of them in which we talk about how great George is nonstop because it was his birthday week. And I have not edited the episodes yet.
So that
And
feels
now
like
I'm
you're
afraid
podcasting at George, I guess.
It kind of feels like I'm podcasting at George, which is not what I want to do.
Hey, I'll be right back. I gotta get
Okay.
some. If G doesn't mind, I would like to hear more about this special good kitty.
My cat,
Yeah.
he's outside. He's being a bastard.
Wow.
The cat is outside.
Bastard cat, go outside.
He's got his paws up on the door and he's just looking at me and screaming.
Oh my God, they're so tender and
So the
sweet.
cat
Guys,
goes in the porch but can't get out, yeah?
Yeah, so here's
Right.
he can't get outside. He can just get on the porch. What he wants is for me to take him outside. And so he stands there at the door and screams for me to come out. And at first I thought that he was trying to get me to let him back in. And so I'd open the door and say, "Do you want to come in?" And he'd just sit there and look at me. And I was like, "What the fuck do you want?" And then whenever I stepped out of the door, that's when I realized, because he'd go "Rah!" and get really excited and like run over to the porch door. And I realized that he wanted me to let him out into the yard.
Is it
So-
feasible to take him on walks?
Yeah, because we live in the middle of nowhere. We live in the middle of a forest. So the problem is I can't just let him out and let him roam around. I would, because I can watch him. I have a huge window. I could just watch him. But I've seen coyotes run across the yard, and so
Right.
I'm not risking that. Like in broad daylight, have seen coyotes just run across the yard.
Yeah, I mean more like on a leash, like as you would
But
a dog.
yes, I do take him out on a leash all the time. I also just let him out and like stand out there with him all the time. It's just really, really hot right now, so I haven't been doing that. And he's not happy about it.
I did not even consider coyotes, frankly. Like, in my world, cats are the top predator.
Yeah.
Top predator.
I had
There are also deer, and I can't imagine him not chasing them out of the yard, but deer kick really hard, and I don't want him getting kicked in the head by a deer.
Deadly.
Jeff, what were you saying?
What were you saying?
G said 2 words that I thought would make a nice opening chant for us to get our anxiety out.
Okay.
Porch door.
Okay. So we're talking about openings, foyers, calls to adventure, you know, and portals, porch.
It's a
door.
liminal space to the porch.
A liminal space. That's a good word for it.
All adventures start with you
doorways,
walking out the
liminal
door.
spaces, thresholds. The crossing of the threshold. So maybe not just the call to adventure, the crossing of the threshold. The threshold itself. Threshold guardians,
that's actually
people who stand in your way.
For some reason, in fiction, like reunions always really get me. And so I love the idea of a story where at the start, the couple or the heroes or whatever go out the castle door, and then near the end, they come in the castle door. Maybe they're covered in gore, but you know, they slayed the enemy.
Al Gore is just like on top of them. He's holding on to them, he's grabbing onto their backs. He's covered in gore.
I mean,
Al
like
Gore
the
is another
Hobbit /
cat
the Lord of the
in the
Rings
neighborhood.
kind of follow that pattern, you know?
In that they go out of the school and then come in at the end of the comic or whatever.
I mean,
That's circular storytelling.
yeah. But there's particular emphasis on, like, you know, the Hobbit hole's door, you know?
Oh yeah. That's a threshold space. Okay, so porch door. That's our chant.
Porch
Let's
door.
do it.
All right.
We're gonna chant porch door for a good amount of time.
I will
Okay,
not be
take a
very
deep
loud.
breath.
It is late and people are sleeping.
That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Let you
Just
guys
so you know.
take
Porch door. Porch door. Porch door. Porch door.
door.
Porch door. Porch door. Porch door. Porch door.
door. We got to do it
Aiden,
slower.
I'm following
This
this
is
just
just creepy.
like
Okay. Porch door. Porch door.
watch
Door.
watch door, watch door,
Porch.
watch door, watch door, watch door,
Porch door.
Porch door.
Porch door.
I got a porch door.
Porch door. Porch door.
Up on the porch door.
Porch door.
watch door.
Porch door. Porch door.
Welcome to Maine. Porch door.
Porch door. Porch door.
Porch.
Have you been to the
Porch
general
door.
store?
Doesn't sound like a
Porch
word
door.
anymore.
Porch door. Porch door. Porch door. Porch door. Porch door.
Ah, porch door.
The threshold Pokemon.
Porch door.
Porch door. Porch door. Hey guys, I'm feeling we're all on the same wavelength now. We ready to go?
Really,
We ready to start
sometimes I
doing
wish
this?
I
Porch
wasn't
door?
on the same wavelength as you guys.
Well, that's not very nice of you. But we're gonna deal with it. We're all on the same wavelength, and G's upset about it. We haven't clapped yet, so we should do that
We
before
should
we
do
start
that.
the
Hell
actual
yeah.
show.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna count down from 3, and then after 1, we're gonna clap on beat. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. The lag isn't too bad.
Nope.
Slapping.
I don't know if I'm familiar with this kind of architecture.
Well, that'll come up. G will explain to
Okay.
us how
Okay,
they
cool.
screened in their porch, and that might affect how we build our porch.
So it's not a common thing that I'm just not aware of, right?
We'll get into that because Americans and Australians have different approaches to things. Maybe that's one of them.
I also might just be dumb.
On a porch with my friends. On a porch porch, the fun never ends. On a porch with my friends.
It's a screened-in porch, so the cat can't escape. But also, other things can't get in. Like bugs.
On a porch. Someone take the next verse.
Someone take
On
the
a
next
porch.
verse.
Sorry, you're cutting
I'm
in
on
and
a
out for me. It's a bit of an issue. It only just
Okay,
started.
then we won't do this kind of intro. That was perfect.
Can we have a door slam sound effect, like he's going back into the house right after a long pause or something?
We could probably do that.
I'll find one. I'll send it
all
to
right.
It just sort of ends.